Well, there's blood in the streets, and there's blood on the hands of Bitcoin. Look at this. Look at this. Bitcoin, this is, yeah, the yellow is Bitcoin's market share. And as I said in January, I will pat myself on the back. Thank you very much. In January, I said if 2017 was about Bitcoin losing its market share, 2018 will be about it regaining. And I think it goes I think we'll touch 80% and then correct. And that's a little bold, maybe 75. What is this? This is 85. So that means, yeah, and about here, get up to here. It's taken a lot of wind out of Ethereum. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Bitcoin, I've got enough things talking about Bitcoin and why it is the leader. But there's more good news. It's all about the Wall Street investors moving in. Now Citigroup is on board. We have the New York Stock Exchange on board. There's a lot of good news, almost too much to mention. I don't know. I didn't want to, but the Citigroup I think was new this week. So Bitcoin's killing it. But what about Ethereum? Wow. Solidly under 200. Now, I just made a video a few days ago talking about Ethereum. I love it. I'm sorry, I still like it. And to all the Bitcoin maximalists who say that Ethereum is not the next Bitcoin, Ethereum can't compete with Bitcoin, I say you're right. It's not. It's different. It's like saying, oh, Facebook sucks because they won't beat Google. They're two different whole different things. And both, I think, can exist and thrive. And maybe Bitcoin a bit bigger, probably. But that doesn't mean Ethereum is going to zero, ladies and gentlemen. Its ecosystem is strong. Just made a video about it. But why is the price going through the floor? Why does it appear to be like a shitcoin? Well, we've got some selling pressure here. There was some good tweets. This one here, I'll put the link in. Bottom line is, a lot of companies raised money last year. And when I say raised money, they actually raised Ethereum tokens to fund their projects. Well, if you're using Ethereum to fund your projects, you have to sell Ethereum to get dollars to pay for things, right? And, the bottom line is, it's like there's a lot of like panic. I think it's just full-blown panic right now because people have been selling. And actually, I saw a chart and I couldn't find it. This thread talks about the companies that ICO'd and how many Ethereum they're holding. Oh, they have more in Ethereum than their entire market cap. There's a lot of information here, but there was one chart that I liked that showed, how much selling of Ethereum that was going on. And actually, there was a lot, even at the beginning of the run when it went up to $10, and people were like, wow, and sold a lot. And, EOS sold off a lot. This last fall, I think a lot of it was Digix dumped a ton. It was like 70,000 Ethereum, and I feel like they did it in like 2 days or something. I don't know. So there's that selling pressure. But if you look at this chart that I couldn't find, I'm sorry, a lot of the selling, the pace of the selling, the volume of the selling is actually decreasing. Problem is, I think demand is drying up right now. I mean, people think, everybody. It's funny. It's the exact opposite of February. I would go to the farmer's market wearing my Ethereum T-shirt with a friggin' unicorn with a rainbow shooting out of its ass and an Ethereum logo on its head, and I walked around proud. Now I got to wear this shirt if I want to look respectable. So where was I? Oh, and one other thing. This is a little bit of a silver lining in some of these things. I'm looking. All the Ether holdings of all ICOs is 3.7% of the total Ethereum supply. So that isn't huge either. So are we near the bottom? These are not huge markets. There's not huge volume. It only takes one really big seller in the midst of a panic to really drive prices lower. So listen, if you believe in the Ethereum story, this is when you want to be buying, right? In a panic. And that doesn't mean it can't go lower. Remember, and I was just talking to someone about this the other day when I got into Bitcoin. I bought some at 500, and I tell this story. Oh, I bought it at 500, and I bought it, and then it went down. I bought it at 400, went down. I bought it at 300, I went down. I bought it at 200. And oh, and it's funny because today it's at 6,000. We talk about it like it's funny. But when I bought it at 500 and it was later at 200 and even fell below that, it wasn't so funny. That's over 50%. It was down 50% when I started buying, and then it fell another 50%. You start to feel like an idiot. So who knows? You buy at 185, you feel like an idiot. I mean, sorry, you buy it at 185, and then it goes to 100, you feel like an idiot. Someday it's at 5,000, we'll all look back and laugh. But right now, it's hard. But the bottom line is that, if you like an investment based on fundamentals and you believe in the long-term story, you want to be buying when everybody's panicking. And you don't want to be buying when it's a big party like it was last year. So that is a lesson, and it's hard. It's like when I go to the Lakers game, and I hate the fucking Lakers, okay? I grew up in Boston. I like the Celtics. It's hard to root against a team when everyone around you is screaming for the other team. It's just annoying and painful. I don't know where I came up with that analogy, but anyways, Bitcoin Cash. Oh, and I love to see the blood in this street. So what was happening here? Oh, this, the Bitmain story. Oh, it gets worse. So now, so Bitmain, big chip producer, big supporter of Bitcoin Cash. We learned sold its Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin Cash. And Bitmain's not been keeping up with the chips, I understand, trying to raise money in this IPO. Now there was some sort of story where they have to reveal last quarter's numbers before the IPO. People are backing out. We now find out that SoftBank and Tencent are not investing in it. Whoa. What if the Bitmain doesn't get the IPO? If I don't know what their financial statements look like, I don't want to just throw, oil on this panic fire. But, and people are looking at their Bitcoin Cash. This thing is down to probably to 75. Let's just look at it against Bitcoin below 7 cents on the Bitcoin, below 7%. So, they're having troubles here. Was I going to say anything else about this? I don't know. Okay. Then, EOS, not doing bad. I got to admit it. I was hoping it wouldn't work. I got to tell you, I'm an Ethereum. I'm a believer in the Ethereum story. And again, a lot of these things, and I say, even if I think Ethereum's going to win in the long run, because I think it's a more trusted, decentralized system in the long run. Long run, in these sort of things, you could be talking 10, 20 years. Ethereum, the EOS, not good in the long run. Could make a lot of money in 1 year, 2 year, even 5 years before there's a problem. It becomes centralized. Who knows? But this, in the short run, it's up, it's running, things are launching. As far as apps running and launching, there's nothing huge yet. So the race isn't over, but it just started. And EOS we have things up and running. Someone mentioned, why do I talk about EOS Bet all the time and not EOS Nights, which is better? I don't know. I don't play these things. I saw articles about this one. But things are running. I look at this. That's all I care about. They have users. I don't think Ethereum has anything with that many users. In fact, we can probably look. EtherDApps. Wait. What is this? Oh, users. Okay, so this is an exchange. CryptoKitties 535. That's probably their biggest one. So EOS has more. These are still very small. It's very early. And Ethereum's answer to EOS is its second layer platforms, and several are launching this year. So Ethereum will have several competitors on its second layer to EOS. But hey, we'll see what happens. If you're a big EOS believer, I'm not going to tell you at this point that you're not going to do okay. We will see what happens, but I'm sticking with my Ethereum bet. Thank you very much. And yeah, okay. So XRP, as you know, I'm all about the Stellar. I think Stellar beats and just knocks out Ripple eventually. So Stellar had another pretty cool announcement here. Interstellar. So there's Stellar X Exchange, which is coming, which looks like it's really cool. It's already up and running in beta, and they're going to release it publicly soon. And now it turns out that that company merged with this Chain. It was a company with early in this space. I think private payment systems. I don't know. There's a lot of developers. Like originally, I thought they just bought it so they get a bunch of developers on their team. But also reading here, I like to see this that Chain raised more than 40 million from institutions including Visa and Nasdaq. Remember I mentioned I keep seeing Nasdaq's name near Stellar's name. Maybe I'm just, creating my own happy fantasy here. But Nasdaq, New York Stock Exchange had a big announcement, what they're doing, laid out their plans. What is Nasdaq doing? We all know they're doing stuff, but I don't know. I think that when Ripple has its convention, because they did this last year, Stellar took the wind out of the Ripple convention when they announced their partnership with IBM. I wouldn't be surprised if while Bill Clinton, right before Bill Clinton goes on stage for his big speech about trust, I don't know that he's going to talk about trust. I just think that's kind of funny. But okay. Anyways, there's going to be, I think Stellar will try to make an announcement. And I'm hoping Nasdaq is included in that. So, anyways, I'm I'll put in links to these articles if you haven't read about this. It looks really interesting what's going on here. And a lot of people though ask, the Stellar network is just a network for trading tokens, and you can trade any token, including XLM, the native token, but you don't have to use it. And so there's an issue where people are like, well, what's the value? IBM's making a USD stronghold, a stable coin. And it's like, wow, that's great. And a lot of people use that coin. Well, but how does that help XLM? They're not going to use XLM for that, right? Well, my bet on Stellar is simply that this network becomes huge with ridiculous amounts of volume. XLM is a utility token, and it is used for converting when you can want to convert from one token or one currency to another. They use XLM as the bridge currency, again, which is just a utility token. If all this is happening, and this is huge, there will be some store of value, I believe. And plus, the numbers we're at now are so small and not incorporating the idea that this thing is going to have trillions of dollars in trade going on it. So we will see. But as you know, I'm a believer. And again, if you loved it at 60 cents, you love it at 20. And it's been holding pretty strong. I feel like it's been holding similar to Bitcoin in that it's sort of found its floor and isn't going below it. It has not fallen out of bed. It's this 20 has been the floor, just like Bitcoin 6,000 has been the floor. For Stellar, 20 cents has been the floor. As opposed to Bitcoin Cash, which just keeps going down. Yeah, obviously Ethereum going down. So it has been holding up. OMG. OMG's my thing, as I've said in many other videos. I don't like to invest until something's launched, it's up and running. We can see what's going on, and we have metrics. Then I can analyze it. Before something's really launched, I think it's hard for me to determine whether it's really going to work. So OMG is a little early for me, but everything else I see looks good. I feel like it is going to work, but it's early. But I'm excited to have a meeting with the OMG tech team. I think this is going to happen where I can talk to them and see if I believe it's worth making an investment. Because it's early and now the price is so low. If this thing works, that could be awesome, getting an early, this early. But I'm not sure I want to do it yet because there's a lot of unknowns. So I'll keep you posted if I decide to just, because one of my criticisms of OMG was, it's like, when is their network going to launch? You may have to wait a year or two. But it's starting to feel like, if it's going to work, a year or two is not that long. And so anyways, I'll let you know if I have the meeting. And these other coins, I love seeing Neo falling on its path to zero. Poor Dash. This Dogecoin, okay, this is just funny. I mean, come on. If you, for whatever reason, bought or are holding and have made money on this Dogecoin, do yourself a favor and sell it for Bitcoin. This is silly. The token was made as a joke, and it's whatever. It's a coin. It works. If you like silly things, sell the Dogecoin. Go to Chuck E. Cheese and get a bunch of Chuck E. Cheese coins because they're funny too. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Anything else to talk about? IOTA. A lot of these are down to where I wanted to see them go, and I either we're gonna get some washout sell fest, or the shit coins will just sort of, when and not to just pick on IOTA, but let's say IOTA. Let's say I'm right on IOTA, and it does go to zero. You know when it's gonna go to zero? It's going to go to zero when nobody knows it goes to zero. In other words, it's not in the news. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's cared for a year and a half. And the thing just is falling and falling, and no one knows. No one hears. No one cares. So, like, if you look at the coins that were big 4 years ago, except for Litecoin is like one of the only ones here. There's the coins that were sort of hot. One of the first was Mastercoin from a long time ago. I don't know. Let's just see if it's even listed here. Mastercoin. I wonder if this is that original coin. It could be the wrong one, but let's just see here. Well, okay, it's got no volume. This might have been it. Anyways, the bottom line is what happens is the coin that goes to zero, at first it falls lower and lower and lower and lower, and then no one cares. Like 10x, I remember when 10x last year around this time. Oh boy, that was the big story. You got to have it to the moon. 10x, can you believe it? Their debit cards are going to be amazing. Guess what? Still don't have the friggin' debit card working. And let's just see what we got here. So here it is. And it was in the news a lot. And now, it's down to here. And and I'm not just trying to pick on them, but if it's going to zero, it's going to be just very slow. It's just boring. You don't get, it's exciting now for something like Bitcoin Cash is the number, whatever. Let's go by market cap here. Bitcoin Cash, number 5 coin, dropping every day. It is sort of exciting. But eventually it falls low, people stop talking about it, and then a year or two later it goes to zero, and no one knows, and no one cares. So that's sort of how I think it plays out most likely. And Tether hanging out here. Like I've said, I think Tether's okay. And boy, there's a lot of stable coins, but I think Tether is going to have some competition coming. A lot of these dollar-backed stable coins coming out, and it shouldn't be that hard to do. It's like have dollars and use that to back an asset. Like doesn't sound hard to do. The hard part is getting exchanges to use it, and Tether is in all the exchanges. But I think we may see some others come out, and Tether might not be sort of the only game in town. Now, MakerDAO is another sort of stable coin. That's a whole nother video. I'm not even going to get into it. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks. Oh, shoot. I wanted to mention I may have a a live event here in Playa Vista. September 27th on a Thursday, I think it is. I wish I mentioned that at the beginning. But I'll have info once it gets confirmed. But if you want to come, save the date. Thanks.